Big names, the most pressing issues, and the sharpest conversations.
We must leave that place of talking into this place of doing.
Nothing are paying through their nose, and you are telling them after training they can't migrate. I will not be part of those who will give soft landing to the guys who are running the affairs of this country.
People are dying every day in an hour. People just go in and come out and read out stories to us. Come on, Kofi.
We must step beyond the talk. We have the analysis.
Join us as we dissect the headlines, bring you exclusive interviews, and dive deep into the heart of the matter. The big conversations live here.
Join Kofi Bartels on the Morning Crossfire, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Dailies today on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, we're back with Dailies today right here on the Morning Crossfire. My name is Kofi Bartels. And I'm not alone. I have the man himself in the building. Good morning, sir. Mr. Jimi Disu.
Morning, everybody.
All right. Okay. Let's move quickly to the dailies on the table. Of course, we made an interesting choice of the best stories for GCS that are ones that. Starting with Daily Trust, we have the political pages focusing on what broke on the internet yesterday. Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi meeting in Abuja. The paper has a headline: Permutations on mega party resurface as Obi visits Atiku Lamido Saraki. What's going on?
Well, this is the beginning. Let's just say, like they say in political balances, this is the flag off for the race for the presidency in 2027, and this is just the beginning. So there's no need to get too excited, and it is expected anyway. That they'll all want to join forces and see if they can oust the APC in 2027. Okay, so there's not much to be said, if you ask me. What it shows is that there's been some movement between them at the back, which is good because none of them can run the race individually. The major question that will crop up at the appropriate time would be who would lead this, should I call it, proposed coalition or mega party.
Is it a proposed coalition at this point, sir?
Oh, of course, yes. Now, you don't have, nothing has been done. You see, in politics, 24 hours is a long time. Would you be surprised, for example, if you put a call through to Obi and you say, let's go to Atiki this morning, and he says, no. After I came back, I discovered a few things. I mean, so in politics, so it's a new development that's coming up. Luckily, I have Chief Bode George on Thursday, and one of the things I'm going to be asking him is if this is a PDP, if this has a PDP, whatever. It's still early days yet. It is still early days yet. Even though Mr. I don't know whether it's Mr. or Chief, I don't know, a Papa of Labour Party was saying something to the effect that he must inform the party before he makes his moves and so on and so forth. But who told the Papa that Peter Obi might want to go on a Labour ticket? Remember that his origins are in the PDP.
His origins are in Abga.
Well, they also his origins are also in the PDP. Yeah. He's well liked in the PDP. Yes, if you've heard the likes of Shoumi, Fayoshe, and a few other people. So anything can happen.
All right.
I think the most important thing for a lot of the politicians in the opposition, and of course maybe if Nigerians then decide, will be how to have a new beginning in 2027.
Uncle Jimmy, are we not getting ahead of ourselves here?
You don't get ahead of yourself.
These are the same guys, sir.
The man who occupies this seat now had been thinking of this thing since he was governor.
Well, these are the same guys who were not sure what they wanted in 2023. We'll hear that NMPP and Labour Party are talking about coalition. The next thing they will come out to deny it. The next day we'll hear they're talking.
Well, you know that the truth is the foundation of the OB movement. The foundation was hurried. He crossed over from the PDP to Labour. I mean, so now he's had time. He's had time to do. He's going to try and correct some of the wrongs that he did. That is if Obi is even going to lead the coalition. You don't know. It's early days yet. But for Nigerians, I think what would probably, the little thing that I would say that the tiny bright light, almost like a speck of a torchlight, is that at least maybe you have an alternative. You will have an alternative to pick from in 2027. I'm not saying that they particularly will.
All right.
The alternative.
Let's see how we go. And on page 8 of the Vanguard, today, Tuesday, May 14, 2024, they still have a picture of the two men, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. But the story we're going with is Tinubu directs mandatory procurement of CNG vehicles by MDAs. The writer to that bans purchase of petrol-dependent vehicles by FEC members.
Ruben Abati is somebody who I never miss whatever is left of his program. I never miss it. And he's usually restrained. In fact, we've had reason to believe sometimes that maybe he's a pro-APC. But even yesterday, he made one remark on an issue, and he said that, do the president's handlers think that people outside, those of us on the outside, we don't think, or we are not perceptive? And that far more intelligence needs to be applied to make the president acceptable. And I think that the only thing that will make him acceptable are the parameters of living. Because these little breaks of what I will call publicity or PR moves, they don't paint a picture of a serious government what he's doing.
You think this is a PR move?
1 second, please. Is it in May and June that you'll be issuing directive on CNG powered vehicles? From the time you took over government and we had this crisis, where was your secretary to the government? Where was your minister for industries, who should have had meetings at that time with producers of locally put together vehicles, locally assembled? What's his name again? Innocent. So many of them.
Nord, the guy you brought.
Not all of them.
GAC.
Yes. You didn't do that. Even in buying a vehicle for the first lady, you didn't patronize them. A senator came on air and said that they couldn't patronize these vehicles because he was trying to insinuate that maybe they were substandard. And now in the middle of the year, when your popularity is waning, you think you can throw these things in, to spur up people's acceptance. No. It's not, because it's just this, as far as I'm concerned, is just propaganda.
Uncle Jimmy, you're saying it's propaganda publicity stunt. To what end? What are they trying to publicize? Or, what do they
No, of course. I mean, come on, Kofi, what a question. You know that any government wants to endear itself to the people, especially when look at what happened in the currency bid. We spoke that time. They said, we are crying. The currency, only God knows what they did. The Bloomberg reported that dipped their hands in the deposits to shore up the naira then. The thing, like the honeymoon, lasted for just about 2-3 weeks. See where we are now. So that's what you keep having in spurts, in bits and pieces. Yeah. This is 1 year of the government. They need to go back to the drawing board and get. When Obasanjo did this, when we had this same problem way back then, he dropped his Mercedes and picked up an ordinary 504 and directed the same. Because it says ban purchase by FEC members. Which FEC member is buying a vehicle now? What are we saying?
With which budget?
God bless you. Now you know.
No,
it is true. Let's call a spade a spade. Where you knew. How? We already knew at the time of this subsidy, whatever, that there would be a need for this. You didn't do that.
I wonder what vehicle the president drives today. Whether it's a CNG powered vehicle, solar, or electricity, maybe a Tesla or something. Uncle Chief, there's one more.
It's not. No, I want to skip this for now.
Okay.
It's not everybody that is in the mold of Obasanjo. I give him. Obasanjo has his faults, but he's extremely practical. Do you know what he was at that time, Kofi? For a president to drop his Mercedes and go around in what was called a 504, just to lay an example. And now this, after all, everything has been done, you now come up with this window dressing.
I wonder what budget.
We want what the government should do is we want you to make life comfortable for Nigerians. The videos that we are seeing in the social media are telling us a story. The other day I went to a booker I went to Buka to eat. You know what the fish they call kote? Small fish like that.
Okay, the small ones.
It is 1,000 naira.
Okay, the egg is 200, 300.
Fish that don't let me say. Fish usually that is fed pets back in the day.
Oh, is it Bangla?
Not panla. This kote is the ice fish. Is
okay.
Yes, kote one, and it's a slim one.
Wow, 1K.
1K. Yes, the minimum wage is staying at 30. I mean, let's face this. These are the issues we are talking about.
Okay, Jimi, have you tried paying
Look at the exchange rate.
Do you know how people on Bande are surviving?
Don't even go there.
And other things.
Let me tell you how bad it is. The other day I went to a supermarket. I said it on air. I couldn't afford to buy a packet of biscuits.
But Jimi, the president is saying that in order to make sure that they cut the cost of governance and also reduce the dependence on foreign exchange, that they want to now, all the government vehicles that you see running around, they won't be using petrol again.
No, it didn't say. No. You see, you got the directive wrong.
They won't buy new.
They won't buy. Yes, but who is buying at this time? The orders voted. The orders for those coming in towards the end of the year have already been made.
So going forward, they won't buy new vehicles with,
It's not a funny situation.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not because it's not. Why I say it's not funny is that this thing is pain. We all feel this pain. And therefore, when we open up the papers or listen to the radio, we expect concrete actions to be taken, not all these media palliatives. That's what they are.
Oh, my God. Okay, I read somewhere I think he is so directed that they should convert. So if they convert their existing vehicles to CNG, then maybe we might see. But
what does the story say? Did it say convert? Procurement. Kofi, it's not convert, please. It says procurement.
Then what will this achieve?
Let's move on to the next
Let's
story.
move on. We have some news tidbits from the Punch.
Let me give you the tidbits. POS, a bit of crime and some sad stories. POS operator agent shot dead in Ogun. One child syndicate at Rising River smashed. Delta mother, 16-year-old son found dead, 2 unconscious. This story here, Lagos businesswoman in tears over property demolition notice, and it talks about the lady fair-skinned, and apparently they've been given notice that the property is going to be demolished. Okay, it said we brought that property in February. I'm going to treat this issue at 9 o'clock, but in case you don't listen, what I ask of anybody is, if you are going to acquire a property, Kofi, if you're going to acquire a property, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, or whatever, for God's sake, your first point of call should be a lawyer, a reputable lawyer, who will tell you the home truth about whether you should acquire it or not. Don't go to the civil service, just go and get a lawyer and make sure that due diligence is done. I've had discussions. That's why I don't have a plot of land in Lagos, and I don't care because of all these things. They will tell you. I remember once Larry the would laugh when he hears this. We were younger then. We were going in search of land, and so they showed me one. I said, "But what are the blocks doing on this?" He said, "Oh, they will give the owner of that one. They will give him another one."
Hey, my God!
You see, we take things for granted. You go to the Ministry of Land. Somebody will tell you, government is not looking at this one just yet, but it is under acquisition, but you can still manage.
My God!
You go to a place and they say, "Oh no, it's on the canal, but we can still manage." What we'll do is that you can take about 5 inches or 10 inches. See, if at some point something is going to give, don't forget. Let us be slightly reasonable and sympathetic to our other people. For every intervention you have in a master plan, you're putting other people's lives at risk. For every channel, for example, that you block, when every morning you wake up and there's been rain and the whole place is flooded, people have died, it's because somebody has done something wrong somewhere. Go and ask those who know about the various islands that you have in Lagos. Some of them have been completely wiped out because of this thing that with Victoria Garden, whatever it's called, that we did, Bar Beach, thing that we did filled up to a point. It pushes the water.
That's Eco Atlantic?
Yes, Eco Atlantic. God bless you. Eco Atlantic. It pushes the water. So whilst we sympathize with people like, I'm not saying in this case, I'm just saying generally, that we should also look at, I don't think government just decides one day to sit and demolish things, houses. I don't think so. I mean, they have to be crazy to do that. But yes, part of the government people themselves have compromised. But that's why we must learn to use professionals in the things that we do. Oh, I have a headache. Oh, they said that this medicine is good. You don't want to get up and go to a chemist. You don't want to go, I have malaria. You don't want to go and do a proper test. That's my feeling. But we'll deal with it at 9 o'clock. So many other stories here. Lagos State government are dislodging roadside livestock traders. That will also deal with at 9 o'clock. You can't trade your business anyhow, anywhere, which is the tendency that people have. I knew what is Computer Village today used to be a fine estate yesterday.
Really?
Yes. People lived there. The Benitez, all of them, they lived there. They had little hotels and things there.
What happened?
Today, you can't. Overnight, this kind of indiscipline. That's why when it came up in my own neighborhood, I put up a big fight. Before the whole place would have
become a new computer village.
Would have become a new computer village.
And now they want to relocate.
And when you tell her, what is most annoying is when you tell her people the implications of these things, that is the only place where he to look at how much it costs to renovate, to develop certain areas. They've now been turned into cooking centers. What is wrong with us? We are so destructive as a people and very selfish.
And I so. How could you be?
Very selfish.
It's well. Let's go. Today is a Tuesday. We have Health-Wise in Punch newspaper. So health stories.
Yes, we do this every Tuesday so that now listen carefully. There are some stories here that you need to listen to. Women who can't conceive should embrace surrogacy. Women who can't conceive should embrace surrogacy. That's from a fertility counselor. Okay? We'll see, maybe one of these days we'll be able to expand that. Scientists discover a new pathway for asthma treatment. Scientists discover a new pathway for asthma treatment. Marcel Ruth Hospital lead with HMO partner on cancer care. Pharmacists beg federal government to avert collapse of tertiary institutions. Now listen to this. I'm seeing this for the first time. And it goes down to what I said about talking to people who know. Do you know, as you're sitting down there, that taking vitamin D supplement with antihypertensive drugs increases the risk of stroke? And the likely person who will tell you this is a pharmacist. Therefore, if you want to take certain drugs, you need to visit your pharmacy, not necessarily the doctor, who will tell you which of these drugs interact with each other. Because a doctor can give you this prescription for your hypertension. Another doctor, who's an orthopedic doctor, could give you vitamin D for your bones. So you need to imbibe this habit of talking to those who know. Therefore, you shouldn't, if you are taking all these antihypertensive drugs, you shouldn't. I've never taken vitamin D in the past, so you can imagine what risk I've put myself to. But now that I know, you shouldn't take it with vitamin D. So if you're taking multiple drugs, put a call through or visit your pharmacy today. And in any case, if you look at the information sheet that comes along with it, you will know what to do and what not to do. So this was quite revealing.
Could you be waiting man go do? Because every time you hear this one, that one, you have to now start checking again.
You just have to be in life. In life, you have to have a real serious approach to the things that you do, and stop looking for freebies. Don't look for, when you want to buy land, don't go and look for a level 8 officer in the Ministry of Lands who can help you. No.
Save yourself the headache.
You're going to spend so much money. Get a lawyer. How much are you going to pay a lawyer?
Well, Uncle Jimmy, talking about Eco Atlantic, you mentioned it. Lagos Calabar Highway. Not that it has anything to do. It's just that it's starts from there.
Yes.
Lagos Calabar Highway. Telcos worry over FG's lack of consultation. This is on page 26 of the Punch.
You see, this whether you like it or not, this thing don't get K-leg. It don't get K-leg. This because apparently Okay. The telcos were not consulted. A lot of their pipes and whatever go along that route.
Cables.
The cables, sorry, I said pipes. Cables.
Okay.
You see, it says that the lack of dialogue with the government has prompted telcos to caution high tech to exercise vigilance to prevent damage to the infrastructure along the coastal line. Mr. Gbenga Adebayo, who incidentally was there on Saturday, has issued a statement saying there hasn't been any damage done on any incident. We haven't been consulted as well. They haven't been consulted at all.
Okay.
If anything, to show them the roadmap. It says, I think the message is clear. Caution has to be taken while walking in that quadrant. So far, no notice and no consultation. The coastal corridor of the Lagos, I'm reading this now, Calabar Highway plays a significant role as a landing site for several submarine cables linking Nigeria to Europe. We don't want our story to become the story of Festac. Do you know, in Festac was built with underground cables. Guess what? In our usual manner, the FHA at some point, corrupt practices, started issuing land to people to build on top of the cables. Therefore, I lived in Festac for 10 years. Therefore, if you had an electricity problem, sometimes you trace a cable, you need to go underground, you trace a cable, it's under a man's house.
Oh, my God.
So if tomorrow now you have somebody who says, I want to revert to the Festac master plan, because that's why Festac has perpetually been almost in darkness all the time. They can't access the cables. You've built houses on them, you've built shops, you've built plazas. So one day you're going to have a government, you're going to have a president or a minister who will say, I want to revert, we need to live like human beings. You will not say government is
but the government who has the responsibility to protect those infrastructure sat back and was drinking Zobo.
I agree with you, 100%. But the truth is this: you must know the country that you live in, and therefore, 1 second, please, let me finish. You must know the country that you live in, and therefore, you must make sure that at all time your paperwork is correct.
But some of these people don't even know where these underground cables are. Some of the people even in government don't even know about.
That is why I've told you, before you make a move and you're going to invest your money, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. If it's a medical issue, talk to a doctor.
Sir,
don't talk to just anybody.
Sir,
yes.
Some of these plazas, they have lawyers. Some of them went to government. They did everything.
They do not. Kofi, don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay, I'll go there.
Something they know that. Look, when I said lawyers, what did I add? What was the word I added to it?
I can't remember.
A reputable lawyer.
Uncle Jimi, who is a reputable lawyer?
Kofi, I'm not in that mood this morning. Let's go to the next one.
Sorry, so some of them have this.
If you like, no, listen. I'm not in that mood for that kind of argument this morning because I have a lot of things on my mind. But I can tell you this: if you don't want to do things the proper way, it will catch up with you. I'm not going to get involved in an argument whether your lawyer misled you or not. Of course, we know that a lot of professions have, including our own media profession. But I'm sure any human being, if you have been able to amass the kind of money to want to build a plaza, I'm sure you'll have the common sense to know which lawyer to go to help you handle matters like this.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the Punch. Page 9 has an interesting story. FG plans performance-based salary scheme for workers. We're still on former minimum wage.
This is a prescription for confusion. This is a prescription for confusion. Do you know, let me tell you something. Most government agencies now are filled with children of the privileged, especially places like the central bank. The entry level has been completely compromised. And that's why you continue to have flip-flops. So an organization, government organizations that at the entry level have been compromised, what do you think would happen when you start paying salary based on performance? Who is going to do that? You're opening the door for corruption. That's what it's going to be, yes. Yes. When government itself got into a problem and didn't know how to collect customs duty, did they not use a flat rate? Now, if you want to bring in a vehicle, the duty you pay for a 2023 vehicle is the vehicle you pay for a 1903 vehicle. Because of these various compromises. So I don't know who is introducing this. Again, it goes back to trying to impress, to see that things are being done. Nigeria is a KISS country. Keep it simple. Once you're going to have this, the governor's son will be at the high end of the whatever. The senator's brother will be at the high end of the whatever. Anyway, the ordinary man himself doesn't even have an entry level, so his case does not apply here.
So and they're still grappling with 30,000 naira minimum wage. They've not changed or increased or added anything. So. Another one from Punch on the business and economy pages. This is page 22. FG won't ground ex-E-Jet like Dana Air, says Kayamo's aide.
I don't know. This is Kayamo's aide. I don't know whether it's a media aide or whatever, but it's not. This statement is not his to make. The airline industry is highly professional. This is not how it is done. But if it is that his boss wants to continue to be stubborn, to be seen as being in charge, I leave it to him. There are consequences for all this action. It's not for the minister spokesperson to say whether they are going to ground an airline or not. No. They are professional bodies, and that's how it's done all over the world. Why do you want to make ourselves a lacking stock because we let
Is your heart
get in
racing
the way?
because your MTN line is blocked? You can't make calls. You can't receive calls. Not even text messages? Nothing at all? What about bank alerts? All these happened because you haven't linked your NIN to your MTN line. Unblock your MTN line today by linking it to your NIN. Rush to any nearby MTN store or agent. If you don't have your NIN yet, no problem. Simply go to any nearby NIMC office to get your NIN. MTN. What are we doing today?
My children take some lessons online. This is how our days used to go.
Dad! Daddy, my screen is frozen! Dad!
Dad this, Dad that. That's my poor connection cue. But today, I celebrate an end to these frustrations thanks to MTN 5G broadband. Now, lessons, family times, streaming our favorite shows, all working from home are the easiest. Get on the train. Thank me later.
My daddy is the best in the whole wide world!
Because every second matters, you can do so much in a day with MTN 5G broadband. Create, connect, and keep winning with MTN 5G broadband. Visit shop.mtn.ng.
Stay one step ahead.
Okay, before we go, let's quickly look at some more news tidbits.
No, I haven't finished that one.
Okay, with Kayamo.
The engine cut up with us. So what I was trying to say is that the minister cannot usurp the function of this. These agencies are set up by law, and it's international practice. It needs to be corrected and take correction. It is not about gra-gra. It's not about ego. It's not your call, Mr. Minister and his aide. Let these agencies do their jobs. And our press too need to be guided. They prompted this. They probably went to, I don't know if they were the ones who went to ask the aide whether they were good, because there was a jet apparently that overran the wrong way. You don't ground whatever jets just because they overrun the wrong way. It doesn't work like that.
So what happens to Dana now?
I don't know. It's for the technical people to know. I don't know what happens to Dana.
Uncle Jimmy, it's been fun doing this with you, and very incisive analysis as always.
Thank you.
We see you at 9 o'clock. What are we talking about this morning?
I have this report on The Guardian that came out last week on how to go about tidying up things,
Okay.
You don't get duped by estate agents and so on and so forth.
Very important.
The estate business, yes.
I think it's a cue. What you said, if you as an indigene of Lagos State, who knows this state inside out, I said, you know what, I'm going to stay away from this land business.
It's not even indigene. It's something that you should know your environment. I'm not going to want to buy land in Abuja and just go without hiring a lawyer to do due diligence.
All right. That's the size of Dailies today. Let's take the news at 8 in the morning. Crosswalk continues. His name is Jimi. Disu. My name is Kofi Bartels. Many thanks for your time. Good morning.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.